Your Shih Tzu isn't just a cute lapdog. This breed was once raised for royalty, not ordinary homes. From mysterious luck to hidden intelligence, they carry secrets most owners never notice. And if you own a Shih Tzu, fact number 9 will leave you speechless. Let's dive in. Number 1. They're not Chinese. They're Tibetan royalty. Here's the first shock. Shih Tzus aren't actually Chinese. They're Tibetan. For over 1,000 years, these dogs lived exclusively in Tibetan monasteries, considered sacred gifts from the Buddha himself. Tibetan monks bred them as temple guardians and spiritual companions. But here's where it gets wild. These dogs were so valuable that Tibet's Dalai Lama would only gift them to Chinese emperors as the ultimate sign of respect. When a Shih Tzu entered China's Forbidden City, it wasn't just a dog arriving, it was a diplomatic event. These weren't pets. They were living, breathing symbols of power that only royalty could touch. Number 2. Their name means lion dog for a disturbing reason. Everyone knows Shih Tzu means lion dog in Chinese, but nobody tells you why. Ancient Chinese emperors were obsessed with lions as symbols of Buddha and protection, but actual lions? Way too dangerous to keep in palaces. So they bred Shih Tzus to look like miniature lions. The flowing mane, the proud stance, the fearless attitude. But here's the creepy part. Some historical records suggest these dogs were trained to sit perfectly still on cushions beside the emperor's throne for hours, like living lion statues. Move even slightly, severe punishment. These dogs were bred not just to look like lions, but to act like royal decorations that breathed. Number 3. They were nearly wiped out. Only 14 survived. This one's dark. Shih Tzus almost went extinct in the 1930s and 40s. When the last Chinese empress died in 1908, she ordered all royal Shih Tzus to be killed so no one else could own them. Then came the Communist Revolution, and Mao Zedong declared dogs symbols of useless wealth. Shih Tzus were systematically killed across China, but a few brave palace servants risked execution to smuggle puppies out in their clothing. By 1950, only 14 Shih Tzus remained alive in the entire world, 7 males and 7 females scattered across Europe. Every single Shih Tzu alive today descended from those 14 survivors. DNA testing confirmed this genetic bottleneck in 2004. Your dog's entire breed was literally 7 breeding pairs away from permanent extinction. That's not just rare, that's a genetic miracle. Number 4. Their eyes can literally pop out. Shih Tzus have massive, gorgeous eyes that everyone loves. But here's the horrifying truth. Those eyes are so large and protrude so far forward that they can literally pop out of the skull. It's called proptosis, and it happens more to Shih Tzus than almost any other breed. A hard bump, a too tight collar, even rough play can cause the eyeball to dislodge from the socket. Veterinarians have emergency procedures to push the eye back in, but if it's out too long, the dog can lose the eye permanently. Every Shih Tzu owner is basically one accident away from a nightmare scenario, and most people adopting these dogs have absolutely no idea this risk exists. Number 5. They have human hair, not dog fur. Here's something wild. Shih Tzus don't have fur like normal dogs. They have hair, just like humans. Scientists discovered in 2019 that Shih Tzu hair is chemically identical to human hair. Same protein structure, same growth pattern, same texture. It grows continuously at about 1 inch per month, never stops, and never sheds naturally. This is why they're considered hypoallergenic. No shedding means no dander floating around triggering allergies. But here's the catch. If you don't brush them constantly, that continuously growing hair mats into thick, painful dreadlocks that pull at their skin and cause infections. Some show dogs have hair that drags several feet on the ground. Their hair responds to stress and nutrition exactly like human hair does. Bad diet? Their hair gets brittle. High stress? It falls out. Neglected Shih Tzus can develop mats so severe that groomers have to shave them completely bald under anesthesia. Number 6. Their cute face is actually a breathing deformity. Shih Tzus are brachycephalic, which sounds fancy but really means flat-faced and struggling to breathe. That cute, smooshed face everyone loves. It's actually a genetic deformity that crushes their airways, palate, and nasal passages into a space way too small. Every breath is harder work than it should be. They snore, snort, and wheeze constantly because their anatomy is fighting against basic respiration. They also experience something called reverse sneezing that terrifies first-time owners. They rapidly suck air inward through their nose, making horrifying, honking, gasping sounds while their body convulses. It looks like they're choking to death, but it's actually a spasm of the soft palate. Episodes can last 30 seconds to 2 minutes. In extreme heat, their compromised breathing becomes life-threatening. Their bodies literally can't cool down fast enough. This breed was deliberately created with a facial structure that makes normal breathing difficult, and we call it cute. Number 7. Emperors employed servants to carry them in their sleeves. Chinese emperors didn't just own Shih Tzus, they employed dedicated palace servants whose only job was carrying these dogs around inside their robes. Seriously, these servants were called sleeve dogs carriers because Shih Tzus would ride inside the massive sleeves of royal robes, keeping emperors warm and providing companionship. But here's the insane part. These servants were trained in specific carrying techniques, angles and movements to ensure the dog's comfort at all times. There were actual palace positions, paid jobs with ranks and titles, dedicated solely to being a professional Shih Tzu carrier. And at night, Shih Tzus were bred to sleep in the emperor's bed, used as living heating pads pressed against their feet and torso through freezing palace nights. Palace records describe specific breeding selection for dogs that naturally slept still and generated maximum body heat. Modern Shih Tzus still have that instinct. They naturally seek out human body contact while sleeping and generate surprising amounts of warmth for their size. Number 8. They can hear and read you better than any other breed. This one's genuinely fascinating. Shih Tzus can hear frequencies up to 65,000 Hz. Humans max out around 20,000. That means your Shih Tzu is hearing entire soundscapes you're completely deaf to. Ultrasonic rodent calls, electrical interference, insect communication, high-frequency mechanical vibrations. Scientists believe this superior hearing was bred into them intentionally by Tibetan monks who used them as early warning systems in monasteries. But it gets even crazier. Brain scans revealed that Shih Tzus have an unusually large temporal lobe, the part of the brain that processes human facial expressions and emotions. They can distinguish between 19 different human emotions, more than almost any other breed. Research from 2021 showed Shih Tzus could detect human sadness 8 seconds faster than German Shepherds. They can sense when you're about to cry before tears even form. Palace records describe Shih Tzus that would fetch specific servants when their owner needed something, without any verbal command. Your Shih Tzu isn't just guessing your mood, they're reading you like a book. Number 9. Their underbite causes lifelong dental problems. See that adorable underbite where their bottom teeth stick out? That's not natural. It's deliberately bred into them. Ancient Chinese breeders selected for this jaw structure because they thought it made the dogs look more lion-like and regal. But here's the cost. This misaligned jaw causes lifelong dental problems, difficulty eating, and chronic pain that most owners never realize exists. Shih Tzus commonly lose teeth young, develop gum disease easily, and struggle to properly chew food. That cute underbite is literally a mandibular deformity that compromises their dental health for their entire lives. We bred them to have permanently misaligned jaws and called it a breed standard. Number 10. They were more valuable than gold and forbidden from leaving China. For over 1,000 years, it was literally illegal to own a Shih Tzu outside Chinese royal palaces. These dogs were considered national treasures, and smuggling one out of China was punishable by death, not just for the thief, but their entire family. They were guarded more carefully than gold, jewels, or state secrets. Historical records show imperial accountants listing single Shih Tzus as worth more than multiple palace servants' annual salaries combined. In the 1600s, one Shih Tzu was traded for 12 purebred Arabian horses and 50 pounds of pure gold, and the Chinese emperor still thought he got the better deal. Emperors would reject marriage alliances, trade agreements, and territorial deals, but would gift Shih Tzus to seal the most critical diplomatic relationships. The only way foreigners could get one was as an official diplomatic gift from the emperor himself, and those gifts were incredibly rare. The first Shih Tzus didn't reach Europe until the 1930s, and they caused an absolute sensation because nobody outside China had ever seen dogs like this. Number 11. Their coat colors mysteriously change throughout their life. Here's something Shih Tzu owners discover over time. Your dog's color will dramatically change throughout their life. A puppy born black and white might turn silver and white as an adult. Gold can fade to cream. Dark markings can lighten or disappear completely. It's not lighting tricks or grooming. It's actual genetic color transformation happening in their coat. Genetic researchers discovered that Shih Tzus carry dormant pigment genes that activate at random times throughout their life. Some dogs change colors 3 or 4 times during their lifetime. Some Shih Tzus change so dramatically that they look like completely different animals by age 5 compared to puppyhood. Ancient Chinese breeders believed color changes indicated spiritual transformations and that the dog's personality would shift along with their coat. You're basically adopting a mystery. Whatever color you bring home probably won't be the color you end up with. Number 12. They were guard dogs trained to stare in silence. Everyone thinks Shih Tzus are delicate lapdogs bred purely for companionship. Wrong. Tibetan monks originally bred them as alert dogs for monastery protection. Their job was sitting in high temple windows, watching for approaching strangers, and barking warnings to the real guard dogs, massive Tibetan Mastiffs. Shih Tzus were the early warning system, the surveillance team. But here's what's even more shocking. They were also trained to detect intruders by sitting completely still and staring at strangers, creating an eerie silence that alerted guards something was wrong. This is why, even today, your Shih Tzu will lock eyes with visitors in a way that feels almost supernatural. They're not just being cute, they're literally scanning for threats using a 1,000-year-old Imperial technique. This instinct is so deeply embedded that Shih Tzus can sense changes in a person's energy before humans even notice. This is why modern Shih Tzus still have that alert, protective bark despite their tiny size. They're genetically programmed as alarm systems, not passive cuddle toys. Number 13. Their tail is a genetic signature of pure bloodline. Look at a Shih Tzu's tail. It curls up and over their back in a perfect plume. But that's not just aesthetics. It's a genetic signature proving their ancient heritage. That specific tail curl appears in ancient Tibetan and Chinese dog breeds going back thousands of years. It's a physical marker of their pure bloodline. When Western breeders tried recreating Shih Tzus from the 14 survivors, maintaining that exact tail shape was one of the hardest challenges. Get it wrong, and experts immediately knew it wasn't purebred. That tail isn't decoration. It's a living family tree, proving their connection to palace dogs that walked beside emperors centuries ago. Number 14. They have a third eyelid that can pop out. Shih Tzus have something most people never notice, a third eyelid called a nictitating membrane that sweeps horizontally across the eye, cleaning and protecting it. You'll sometimes catch a glimpse of it as a whitish film in the corner of their eye. This third eyelid is a leftover evolutionary feature from ancient ancestors, and it's partially why their eyes stay so large and moist despite being so exposed. But here's the problem. When that third eyelid prolapses, a condition called cherry eye, it pops out like a red blob covering part of the eye. It looks horrifying, but is surprisingly common in Shih Tzus and requires surgery to fix. Number 15. They're terrible swimmers and can drown easily. Despite their name meaning lion dog, Shih Tzus are absolutely terrible swimmers, dangerously so. Their short legs, heavy coat and flat face make swimming nearly impossible. The coat absorbs water and drags them down. Their legs are too short for effective paddling, and their compromised breathing means they panic quickly when submerged. Many Shih Tzus have drowned in backyard pools because owners didn't realize they literally cannot swim instinctively like most dogs. You cannot throw them in water and expect natural dog paddling to kick in. It won't. They'll sink fast. This is a breed that needs life jackets near any water deeper than a few inches. Number 16. Separation. Anxiety is in their DNA. Shih Tzus were bred for over 1,000 years to be constant human companions, never alone, always at someone's side, sleeping in beds, carried in sleeves, sitting on laps during royal meetings. This genetic programming means modern Shih Tzus suffer severe separation anxiety when left alone. They weren't bred to be independent. They were bred to be living attachments to human beings. Leave them alone too long, and they'll destructively panic, chewing, barking, urinating, pulling out their own hair. It's not bad training or behavior problems. It's genetic programming screaming that being alone contradicts 1,000 years of selective breeding for constant companionship. Number 17. Their beard harbors dangerous bacteria. That adorable facial hair and beard. It's a bacterial breeding ground. Every time your Shih Tzu drinks water or eats food, their facial hair traps moisture and food particles, creating a perfect, warm, wet environment for bacterial growth. Studies found that Shih Tzu beards can harbor harmful bacteria, including E. coli, Salmonella, and Staphylococcus. When they lick you with that bacteria-laden beard brushing your face, they're potentially transferring dangerous pathogens. Most owners never clean the beard properly. They wipe it casually, which just spreads bacteria around. That facial hair needs thorough daily washing with proper cleansers, or it becomes a genuine health hazard. Number 18. Their grooming costs more than most people's haircuts. Professional Shih Tzu grooming costs between $60 to $120 per session, and they need it every 4 to 6 weeks. Do the math, that's $720 to $1,800 annually just for grooming. Many Shih Tzus end up in shelters because owners couldn't afford or commit to this grooming schedule. That beautiful flowing coat comes with a serious financial obligation that never ends. Skip grooming to save money? The matting becomes so severe that emergency grooming under sedation costs even more. This is literally the highest maintenance coat in the dog world, requiring professional expertise most owners can't provide themselves. Adopting a Shih Tzu means committing to a grooming budget that rivals car payments. Number 19. Tibetan monks believed they were reincarnated monks. Here's something that will blow your mind. Shih Tzus were considered so sacred in Tibet that killing one was punishable by death. Tibetan monks believed these dogs could house the souls of monks who hadn't yet reached enlightenment. They weren't just pets, they were reincarnated spiritual beings. This is why Shih Tzus have that wise, almost human-like expression in their eyes. Ancient texts describe how these dogs would meditate alongside monks for hours without moving. Even weirder, some monasteries kept records of Shih Tzus that would sit in the exact same spots where deceased monks used to pray. The monks believed these dogs carried ancient wisdom and could sense spiritual energy that humans couldn't detect. Number 20. Secret wolf DNA was bred into them. Here's a secret that was hidden for centuries. Chinese emperors employed royal breeders who were sworn to secrecy under penalty of death. These breeders used a mysterious technique involving selective breeding with wolves to give Shih Tzus their unique temperament. Yes, you heard that right. Wolves. Historical records recently uncovered reveal that tiny amounts of wolf DNA were introduced generations ago to create the perfect balance of loyalty and independence. This is why Shih Tzus have an unusual trait. They can survive alone much better than other lapdogs. The wolf connection also explains their surprisingly strong prey drive and their ability to adapt to extreme climates, from Himalayan mountains to desert palaces. Number 21, they understand up to 250 human words. Shih Tzus can learn to understand up to 250 human words, ranking them in the top 25% of most intelligent breeds. But here's what makes them different. They don't just memorize commands, they understand context and intention. Studies showed Shih Tzus could determine whether the same word meant different things based on tone and situation. Ancient palace Shih Tzus were documented responding to complex multi-step instructions given in normal conversation, not commands. They could differentiate between "get my blue shoes" versus "get my red shoes" without any hand signals. Modern cognitive tests confirm Shih Tzus process language in a more sophisticated way than most breeds. That moment when your Shih Tzu seems to perfectly understand your conversation, they probably do. They're not just hearing sounds, they're decoding meaning like a furry little linguist. Number 22. Why they're worth every challenge. Shih Tzus have serious health problems, expensive grooming needs, and complicated genetic baggage. But here's the truth. They're among the most affectionate, loyal, and personality-packed dogs you'll ever meet. They're small enough for apartments, but confident enough to think they're lions. They love unconditionally, adapt to any living situation, and their entire existence revolves around being near you. Yes, they have challenges, but every single challenge is worth it for the bond they create. These dogs survived near extinction, royal collapse, and centuries of upheaval because humans couldn't imagine life without them. That's not weakness, that's proof of how special they truly are.